A couple of days ago, we were invited out by Universal to experience something that, to be honest, has been living rent-free in my head since they made the announcement. So they invited us out to check out the 2 new nighttime shows, as well as the grand opening of DreamWorks Land. Now you may be wondering why I have been so excited about 2 nighttime shows. There's been nighttime shows in the parks before. Why are these any different? Well, to be frank, the parks have really needed them. So the Hogwarts Castle Light Show has been gone for quite some time, as well as the Lagoon Show. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love a Lagoon Show, but it has to be done right. So tonight was going to be a pretty big test on what the future of entertainment looked like at Universal. We started the night off in DreamWorks Land, where Shrek, Donkey, and Fiona greeted guests to their swamp, and we had a couple hours to explore. They had closed the area off, and since it's opening tomorrow, this is probably the last time that we will ever see it this empty, but I can't wait for families to enjoy this land for years to come, kind of like they did with Woody Woodpecker and all that came before it. We had some fun and I ate some food, but all I could think about were these 2 shows. And this Shrek sour apple popsicle thing. After that, they took us back to Soundstage 33 to eat some food and meet some characters. The night was really flying by, and when we came outside to head to the lagoon, it was absolutely beautiful. And I just couldn't help but think about how great the skies were gonna look in the background for this lagoon show. So it is currently like 8:45, and this whole day has flown by. We had a lot of stuff going on earlier. They fed us, we had character meet and greets, we got to experience DreamWorks like I sort of talked about, but I cannot wait for these shows. I've been just waiting for a lagoon show, especially one with Ghostbusters, since HHN 2019. So that was when they introduced Marathon of Mayhem, which is by far my favorite thing that has ever come to HHN, and maybe my favorite thing that has ever come to the Universal Orlando Resort. We had traditions, like while that show was going on, we went and got our donuts. They were like a pumpkin donut is a Stranger Things pumpkin donut at HHN 29. They had like green frosting on them and like cookie crumbs. They were representative of the like the pumpkin patch, the rotten pumpkins in the pumpkin patch, but they were far from rotten. They were so good. And every night that we were here, we would get those and we would come watch the shows, or come watch the Lagoon show, the Marathon of Mayhem. And then there were some nights where we would do that twice. So to say that I am excited to see the return of Ghostbusters and the return of a Lagoon show, because it's been a long time since we've had one, that would be an understatement.
But right now, we're preparing for you to witness our brand new nighttime show, Cinesational with Symphonic Spectacular. And this is a brand new evolution of how Universal Orlando does nighttime shows. What you're going to experience tonight is a journey through memorable movie moments, through the emotional power of music.
The problem at this point was that I'd built this up in my head for weeks now. Honestly, years. I was a little afraid that I wasn't going to enjoy it because of how much I had built it up. It's crazy just how much of our lives have been spent reliving and rewatching a simple Lagoon show from 2019. And for some odd reason, my excitement for the show was slowly turning into anxiousness. Like, what if it didn't live up to the hype that we had built up for ourselves?
The music of movies. Beautiful and powerful soundscapes that help bring to life fantastic stories. Cinematic music speaks directly to the heart, taking us into inspiring adventures. And tonight, those very melodies call upon us to follow a celestial spectacle. And you never quite know just where that story may lead. So let the music guide our path and take us on a journey that can only be described as Cinesational.
What proceeded to happen was my first experience of a show that I know I will talk about for years to come. It's kind of like that pesky little show that I just keep mentioning from a Halloween event here in town. The show was amazing. It was emotional and beautiful and everything you want from a nighttime show. It was 22 minutes long, and somehow it felt like seconds. Every major IP that we had fallen in love with in the parks was represented in such a classy and, for lack of a better word, a perfect way. I would be lying if I said I didn't get a little teary-eyed. Music just has such a huge emotional pull for so many of us. The things we end up attaching songs to are a lot of times our favorite memories, and the music for the show just sparks so many of those great memories. Memories from the parks, memories from my childhood, just a lot of nostalgia. It was so hard to put into words how happy a lagoon show had just made me.
I don't even know what to say. That was amazing. It is everything that I could have wanted it to be, the Ghostbusters parts. There were just so many parts that were just things that I've wanted in the parks for forever. And it truly is a nighttime show that we've needed and wanted. You know, they could have gone a lot of different routes. And it could have just not been as good as it was, but I will be seeing that thing on repeat. Like, it's just, there's a lot of emotions that come with it. There's a lot of everything. It is, you're gonna find a part of it that you really love. If you were a fan of HHN 29, Marathon of Mayhem, like I spoke about earlier, you're really gonna love that show.
With Cinesational still playing in the back of all of our minds, we then headed over to Islands of Adventure to finish the night off watching the newest Hogwarts Castle light show. These have always been some of our favorite shows in the parks, and we've watched them so many times. Have I seen the Dark Arts show 100 times? Actually, probably not. Like, probably not even close to 100 times, but I've seen it several times. Will I see it 100 more times? Once again, probably not. 100's a lot. That's a lot of nights watching a show. But regardless, I was excited for the newest iteration.
There's only one place to find all them bits and bobs for doing your wizardry. That is, of course, if you know where to go.
Once again, the show did not disappoint. There were tons of fun scenes from the series, and it took you through the journey of being a Hogwarts student trying to win the House Cup. The most fun part of the show was that the ending can actually be different, and that like a different house can actually win each time. The first time I watched it, Ravenclaw actually won, and I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I'm a Ravenclaw, and for some weird reason, I had like house pride. I felt pride, and when my house won, I don't really know how to describe it because I didn't do anything. I just pointed the camera at it, and so maybe Dumbledore found some weird way to give me extra points. I'm not sure how it works, but then they actually showed it a second time, and Slytherin won. And I've always been told that I have Slytherin tendencies, so I kind of claim that as my second house. Regardless, it was a big night for me. You may be sitting there saying like, oh, you're not saying nearly as much about this show, like raving about it, and it's great. It was a great show. The way that I've been thinking about it is I'm a great dancer, but if you were to watch me dance by myself, you'd be like, oh, that's a 10. But if I was to follow up a professional dancer, you might say, oh, that's a 10 and that guy's like a 9.8 or something like that. I promise I'm a great dancer. It was just going to be a tough act to follow, I guess is what I'm saying. And I just have to reiterate, I'm actually a really good dancer. Now, some of you may have clicked on this video expecting to see the entirety of both shows, and that's just not really my place to do that. I enjoyed the shows so much that I just want to kind of like pique y'all's interest and show you little parts of it that I really liked and sort of review it and tell you what I enjoyed about it, because I really think that everyone should experience both of these shows. Sometimes things get released in the theme parks and they get a lot of flack and people just aren't happy about them, and I never question it. I'm always just accepting of it. You know, people have their opinions. I would really, if I haven't seen anything negative about either one of these shows, but if there is something, this is one of those times that I would really like to hear, like, what was wrong with them, because in all honesty, both shows were amazing, and Cinesational is a masterpiece that everyone should really see. I know if it hadn't been raining last night, I would have went to the grand opening of the show and seen it again, even though I had seen it just less than 24 hours before. But yeah, there was my night at the event. I know it seemed rushed. Maybe the video did, maybe it was a little bit short, but I was just really excited to be there and was experiencing the event. That's not all that Universal has going on this summer. There is actually a parade coming out in July that I can't wait to see, and it'll have a bunch of the same IPs. But once again, a huge thank you to Universal for having us out. We always love doing these events, and being able to bring you guys coverage is truly special to us. But thanks for hanging out, and I hope, for your sake, that you get out to see both of these shows really soon, because Universal created something special with both of them. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!